lot of y'all know who've been following the channel for a while that I used to work as a mailman down in Charlottesville. I hated that job. It made me miserable. Fortunately, I was able to get out of there, pursue other endeavors, i.e. social media content creation. But I kept in contact with a few of the folks that I worked with just because they were wonderful people. They were some of the best people I've ever worked with and some of the best people I've ever known. And I was talking to one of them recently, a guy who just retired. He had actually delivered mail for more than 30 years. I was glad to hear that he finally got out of there. He's divorced. He's got a couple of grown kids. And so it was nice catching up with him. And I asked him if he was glad to be out of there, and he said he was. But he told me about his last day on the job. What a day he had. So he gets to the post office early that morning, and he loads his truck with all the mail and all the packages to deliver. He goes out on his route, and he had had the same route for the last few years that he had been there, and so people knew he was retiring. He said he made it to one of the local library branches where he would do his deliveries, and they had a gift for him. Yeah, they had it wrapped up and everything, so they gave it to him. He unwrapped it. And it was a collection of Charles Dickens' best work, leather-bound. And they told him, we know you love to read. Here, you're going to have more time to read now. Please enjoy this gift. And he thanked him. And that's one of the things he and I have in common. As you know, I'm also a writer, avid reader. And he was just really a kindred spirit. It was wonderful meeting him. So he accepted that gift graciously, and he continued on his route. And about halfway through the day, he made his way to one of the liquor stores in town for his deliveries, and they had a gift for him as well, a bottle of something, 12 years, something or other. I'm not too familiar with liquor and how it works, but the way he explained it, it was some pretty good stuff, top shelf type stuff. And they said, look, we know you're not much of a drinker, which he's not, but we want you to have a drink on us. Thank you for all the years that you service this route. And he accepted that gift graciously. But it was the end of his route that was the most interesting of his story. He said the last subdivision he did, there was a couple that was new in town. They were on the very last street, the last house, as a matter of fact. So he gets to that last house. He goes up on the porch to deliver the packages. And the woman of the house, who he said is quite a looker, she's in her late 20s, she's at the door wearing nothing but lingerie. And she says, hey, I hear it's your last day on the job. And he says, well, yeah, I'm retiring after 30 some years. So she says, I've got a gift for you. Would you mind coming in to get it? And he was kind of hesitant because of how she was dressed, but he always knew her to be kind of a class act in the short time he'd been servicing that route. So he went in the house. She let him into the dining room, and there on the table, she had an entire spread. She'd prepared this wonderful meal for him, and she said, happy retirement, please enjoy this meal. So he sat down there to the table with her and had this wonderful meal, and they were having a good time. So he went out to the truck and he got that bottle of 12 year, whatever the hell it was, and they started doing a little bit of drinking. And then in time, she led him up to the bedroom, and they did it. And you know what it is? And so afterwards, she gave him $1, and he thought, oh, how cute, she's tipping me. He thought that was kind of unique and interesting, but cute. So they finish up, they get dressed, they go downstairs, and as he's leaving, he turns to her and he says, a lot of folks gave me gifts today. He told her about the book from the library and the liquor from the liquor store. He mentioned that to her earlier. He said, but I've got to admit, your gift is the one that I will never forget. It's certainly the most unique. How did you come up with this idea? And she said, well, I heard you were retiring, so I told my husband, hey, the mailman's retiring. We should get him a gift. And my husband said, we're new here. Screw him. Give him $1. But she said, dinner was my idea, though.